All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of your Los Angeles City Council. Today is Wednesday, the third day of June in the year 2026, and the year we celebrate victories for Mr. McCosker, Councilmember Park, Councilmember Rodriguez, Councilmember Yaroslavsky when she gets here, Councilmember Hernandez of the 1st Council District. We're very, very excited to celebrate democracy and to celebrate these victories this morning. Big affirmation of the work of the members of this body by the voters of the city of Los Angeles. Councilmember Price.
Thank you, Mr. President. Out of abundance of caution, I'm recusing myself from items 4 and 15 because my wife's previous employer has worked with an organization listed in this project.
All right. Before we go to public comment, she did not request this, but we're going to ask her to do it anyway. We have a special introduction by Councilmember Tracy Park to this council. Yes, that introduction.
Well, this is incredible. I have my parents here today who are visiting from Arizona. Welcome to the Ferraro Council Chambers and the entire team from CD11 here as well. So
excellent.
Thank you, Council
welcome,
President.
welcome, welcome, and thank you for the gift of Councilwoman Park. All right. Thank you. Before we call names for public comment, I want to call everybody's attention on this coming weekend. It will be exactly 1 year since the ICE raids started here in the city of Los Angeles. And we developed a practice here proposed by Mr. Blumenfield that we did for months after those ICE raids started, with testimonials from folks in our districts that were impacted by those raids. Now, the ICE raids are off of the headlines of mainstream media. They're not carrying out these horrific circuses in MacArthur Park or in front of Home Depot anymore, but the enforcement actions are still happening and happening on a regular basis. And so every week, our office will ask the council offices if they have a testimonial that they want to bring, because we want to keep attention on it as we celebrate freedom on the one hand with our right to vote yesterday. We want to push for a more complete and more perfect freedom in our day and our time. And so this morning, I'm joined by a family that was deeply impacted by a recent enforcement action, restaurateurs in our district, right there on Vermont near USC, a great rotisserie place. We had a detention on May 9th and went around. We're around the country now, and we'll get an update from you on where your husband is and where the enforcement action is. But I want to welcome to the Los Angeles City Council Ms. Lawrence, who's going to give us a review of the case that her family is undergoing and her business is undergoing at this time.
Good afternoon, council members and members of our community. Sorry, I'm really nervous. My name is Jenna Lawrence. I'm a small business owner. I own 2 businesses in Los Angeles. I'm a mother and a resident who never imagined I'd be standing before you speaking about immigration detention, family separation, and a devastating impact it can have on an entire community. Today, I'm here to share what happened to my business partner, Chef Carlos Lewell, and the lasting impact it has had on our family, our employees, our businesses, and the community. On the morning of May 9th, 2026, at approximately 7:30 in the morning, Carlos and I had just left La Granja Rotisserie in Los Angeles. That's our business. We were going about our normal day discussing business, employees, and future. In the days leading up to that morning, we had noticed a suspicious vehicle parked outside our business on multiple occasions. We also observed an individual walking around the gates and lingering near the property, which made us uneasy, though we did not know who they were or what they were doing there. Then everything happened very quickly. Vehicles surrounded us, men rushed towards Carlos. They were armed, shouting commands, and moving fast. The last thing Carlos said to me was, "I love you, and I'll call you in a minute." Within moments, he was gone. One minute we were discussing our restaurants, the next minute the person I loved, worked beside every day, and built businesses with had been taken away. What happened afterward was one of the most traumatic experiences of my life. For days, nobody could tell me where Carlos was. His identification number was not showing up in the system. The Guatemalan consulate could not locate him. Attorneys could not find him. I called facilities after facilities searching for answers. I was transferred from one person to another. Nobody could tell me where he was. Nobody could tell me if he was safe. Nobody could tell me if he had food, a bed, a blanket, access to a phone. For a period of time, it felt like as though he had simply disappeared. Imagine having someone you love vanish into a system, not knowing where they are. Imagine waking up every morning wondering if they have eaten, wondering if they're sleeping on a floor somewhere. Imagine wondering if they are scared, confused, injured, or alone. Then I finally received a call from Carlos describing to me what was heartbreaking. He described people being moved from place to place with little information about where they were going. He described long periods without communication with family members and described people who were terrified. People who did not know what would happen next. People who did not know when they would see their children again. One would imagine where they will be. When a plane carrying detainees landed, people began screaming out their names and phone numbers when I was on the phone with him. They were yelling. Think about that. Human beings screaming out phone numbers because they did not know if they would be able to contact their families or loved ones. People I didn't know, people in English, people in Spanish, just writing down different names and phone numbers and where they lived so I could contact them and let them know what had happened to their loved ones. Human beings and strangers, this should break everyone's heart. It's extremely frustrating not being able to locate someone that you love and care about. I received calls and messages from family members desperately looking for information. Mothers searching for sons, children searching for parents, spouses searching for loved ones, family who had absolutely no idea someone they loved was gone. No family should have to experience the level of fear and uncertainty. What has affected me most is not just what happened to Carlos. It's a realization that so many people in our community are living with this fear every single day. Carlos had a driver's license, he worked, he paid taxes, he owned businesses, he employed people. He supported employees and their families, he contributed to this community. Yet, in a matter of minutes, everything was changed. Whether someone has lived here for 5 years or 15 years, the fear and confusion left behind effects for their entire family. This experience made me think about my own father. My father was not born in this country. Today, he's a proud American citizen. But during this experience, I kept asking myself, what if this happened to him? What if my elderly father had been taken? What if he was confused? What if he was able to contact? What if he was unable to contact family? What if nobody knew where he was? What if he needed medication or assistance? As a daughter, these thoughts were devastating. And now I'm not the only person who has those fears. Across our city, there are children worried about their parents, parents worried about their children, families worried about grandparents, entire households living with uncertainty. The emotional toll is enormous. The financial toll is enormous. The impact reaches far beyond one individual. Our businesses have struggled, employees have struggled, families who rely on those jobs have struggled. The triple effect touches the entire community. Today, I'm not asking for federal immigration law to be changed. I'm asking for compassion, I'm asking for resources, and I'm asking for clear information that can help families when loved ones are detained. I'm asking for partnership with organizations that can help people locate family members, understand their rights, and navigate an overwhelming, confusing process. Most importantly, I'm asking that we never forget the humanity behind these stories. Like, these are human beings. I understand that this can happen to anyone, but we are all human beings, and nobody should have to suffer. No family should have to be wondering where their dad, mom, children are. Behind every headline is a child wondering when they will see their parent again. This experience changed my life forever. I stand before you today not only for Carlos, but for every family that has spent sleepless nights wondering where their loved one is. For every mother waiting for a phone call, for every child waiting for a parent to come home, for every family desperately searching for answers, and for every person who has ever shouted a name or a phone number into the air, hoping someone could carry the message home for them. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your compassion, and thank you for remembering that behind every immigration story, there's a human and a family that matters.
Thank you so much. All right, with that, we'll go to public comment.
Good morning. What would you like to speak to? Which items?
6 and 7, but I'll use general, the 1 minute.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said 6 and 7 and...
But I'll use general.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for general if you'd like. Go ahead.
Good morning, council members. Andrew Salimian, representing the Los Angeles Conservancy today. We're supporting items 6 and 7, the low-rise ordinance, and the delayed effectuation plan for SB 79. We support the ordinance as amended by the Planning Commission and Plum Committee. There were some changes in there through the Planning Commission process that reflected, interestingly, some compromise between homeowners and housing advocates. So especially the rear setbacks increased to 8 feet are important. We do hope that the city of LA looks at a long-term plan, and I do think there are community plans in the process, Southeast Valley, Southwest Valley, and the West Side, that affect many of these areas, and it's time for us to really take up the mantle on those and stop responding to state law, because our own planning processes are important as well. So thank you for that, and congratulations to those who won last night.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to express my support for a robust and full implementation of SB 79. I think that LA cannot build more density around our public transit networks fast enough. I think so many of this city's problems are downstream of our decisions over the last century, really, to move away from public transit, to move away from density, and to force too much of the city into single-family housing. So yeah, again, please, let's densify, especially around our public transit. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Courtney Alicia Miles with Abundant Housing LA, speaking to proposed amendments for SB 79's implementation. We want LA to get ready to implement effectively and maximize its potential in building housing close to its highest resource stations. This includes amend low-rise ordinance to include a low-rise bonus that would allow 5 floors and form-based density in exchange for deeper affordability. 2, allow attached at-grade parking behind units. And lastly, say why you support this, because it's important. Thank you.
Good morning, council members. My name is Matthew Mungy. I'm with Inner City Law Center. I represent low-income folks throughout the county and city. We're here today to speak in support of, first of all, thank all the planning staff for their work on SB 79 implementation and the low-rise ordinance. We think it's a really great opportunity for the city to develop mixed-income housing throughout areas where historically we haven't done a significant amount of mixed-income housing. We also are speaking in support of asking the council members to support Exhibit 2B. Council supported and unanimously passed a motion to ask planning to develop options to allow deeper affordability, and want to thank planning staff for developing that option. I think this could be a unique opportunity to make some of these projects a little bit more feasible while adding a little bit of deeper affordability and adding some more flexibility, making it more likely that parking is built. I think it's all around going to be a win-win situation, so really hoping the council considers Exhibit 2B, as well as adding a little bit more flexibility to ground parking. So thank you very much for your time. Have a great day.
Members of the council, my name is Bobby Garrity. I am a renter, and I'm speaking to you here today because the cost of housing in Los Angeles is far too high. And that's why I'm asking for a strong, full implementation of SB 79. SB 79 legalizes mid-rise apartments near major transit stops. It is the state minimum, the kind of bill that we passed to make the suburbs do their share of housing. As the core city and as the largest city in the state, we should be far exceeding the requirements of SB 79. We should have more high-rises near those stops. We should have more mid-rises close to them. And we should be upzoning all parts of the city. There's no way we are going to solve the housing crisis and make it affordable to live here if we do not make it easier and less expensive to build more housing across our entire city, but especially near our transit stops. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jesus Rojas for the Apartment Association of Greater Los Angeles. AGLA strongly opposes any further extensions of the citywide emergency restrictions based on the January 2025 wildfires and storms. These restrictions have already greatly exceeded the time when they were necessary and have already been in place for 17 months without serious consideration. The state ended its emergency restrictions as of February 7, 2026. The county ended its emergency restrictions as of March 29, 2026. It is now time for the city's emergency restrictions to finally end. To approve any further extensions would be a gross overreach by the city and willful abuse of its emergency powers. While there is no doubt that some homeowners affected by the wildfires are still in process of rebuilding, they are already situated in stable housing situations and are not living in multifamily properties, motels, or hotels. Therefore, at a minimum, all multifamily properties should be immediately excluded from any further extensions.
General?
Thank you. We urge the City Council to recognize that there is no longer active emergency, as the state and county have already done, by allowing the existing citywide emergency restrictions to finally expire and voting no on any further extensions. Thank you.
Good morning, council members. My name is Scott Epstein. I'm the Director of Policy and Research with Abundant Housing LA. The low-rise ordinance is a really exciting opportunity. Finally, the city is saying we need to make room for more residents to live near high-capacity transit, to be near high-performing schools and amenities and jobs. But we need to get the details right. We need to get the conditions right. And I urge you to make some key changes to the low-rise ordinance so that we actually can deliver housing. And those are two. So one, please adopt Exhibit 2B, which is responsive to your direction to affirmatively further fair housing through this ordinance. And second, please allow at-grade parking as an option for these buildings. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
It's obvious that the revised council rules were passed without getting proper legal scrutiny, and they violate the Constitution. A child could tell you that. Now, you might say that free speech violations don't cause terrible harm, but similar process failures regarding the police are causing real harm. You were elected presumably because people think each of you has the integrity to oversee basic government functions, but that hasn't worked so far. We're supposed to have, quote, a government of laws, not of men. So do what you should have done a long time ago and publicly request a military-level investigation of official misconduct today, as soon as this meeting ends. It costs nothing, and if some well-meaning person tells you you shouldn't, tell them to go to hell.
Good morning to everyone, especially Heidi Feldstein Soto. Councilmember Jurado, LA Can is still waiting for a response to our letter from weeks ago. As you know, constituents in Skid Row face violent sweeps every single day, and unlike everywhere else in the district, do not get sufficient notice. The metal OHS signs in Skid Row serve the purpose of allowing city workers, along with LAPD, to come and destroy people's lives. We need an urgent change in Skid Row, and while we 100% know sweeps should end completely, constituents in Skid Row should get the same notice that others in the district do. While your aide talks about outreach supposedly being done ahead of sweeps at the CCEA meeting, we know it's not. While your aide talks about working with the BID and LAPD to prioritize areas for sweeps, we know you do. Why can't sufficient notice be given to Skid Row ahead of these violent, traumatic sweeps?
My name is Jesse, and I'm a member of LA Can. Why are unhoused folks in Skid Row not offered the same warning about these violent sweeps as others across the district and city? Councilmember Jurado, we know that you understand these concerns, though your office never does outreach on Skid Row, and we've never seen your staff at any of the sweeps before, during, or after. I do community watch every week on Skid Row. I witness people being harassed, displaced, and pushed from block to block, their property being stolen, destroyed, and thrown away, all the while trying to survive. While we are 100% against sweeps happening at all, LA Can is demanding that our members and our community get, at the very least, the same treatment as others in our community in your district.
My name is David, and I'm a member of LA Can, here to speak on general comments. Councilmember Jurado, why don't Skid Row residents get the same advance notice of sweeps that residents do in every other part of the district? Residents in Skid Row face daily violent sweeps, and despite the metal signs showing up to 8 blocks or more that might face a sweep, we know that these signs don't provide sufficient notice. We're still waiting for you to respond to our letter from almost a month ago. What's the holdup?
Yes, sir. My name is Tommy. I'm a proud member of LA Can, here to speak on general comment. Councilmember Jurado, it's been 3 weeks since you received our letter, following up on our February meeting with you. Every day, the Operation Healthy Streets sweeps are happening in Skid Row with no real warning for your constituents. Every day, people are faced the trauma of losing their belongings, watching everything they own get destroyed by city workers under the threat of police violence. This includes tents and sleeping materials, clothes, but also includes critical documents like IDs, birth certificates, photos of loved ones, and medications. The experience of these sweeps on people's mental health are immeasurable. Lots of workers sit in their car, sometimes sleeping. There is no outreach, no resources, no help, just violence. Why don't Skid Row residents get the same notice that every other neighborhood in Council District 14 gets?
A woman member of LA Can came in and told us that she didn't know that a sweep was happening, and she lost everything, including the only pictures she had of her dead mother. That the city put out paper signs on Ceres Avenue last month shows that the city is very aware that metal signs don't do anything, and that paper signs are required so that people know the sweep is actually coming. Every other part of CD 14 gets paper signs warning residents of an impending sweep. LA Can members are demanding the same treatment in Skid Row. We sent you a letter about 3 weeks ago and haven't heard back. Why are houseless people in Skid Row treated differently than others in your district?
My name is Christy with LA Can. Councilmember Jurado. For almost 4 weeks now, you have neglected to respond to the letter that we issued to you and your staff, in which we followed up on a meeting in February regarding daily OHS sweeps. In that meeting, you seem to understand that the metal signs do not provide sufficient notice to houseless people that are forced to live outside. The longer you delay a response to us, that includes a commitment to practical solutions, Skid Row community members will continue to be placed at risk by your office, vulnerable to the loss of essential survival gear, blankets, clothing, medication, and their mobility devices. It's easy to point to other city departments to lean on an explanation of how complicated and slow it is to make change. But the reality is that you have a position of power, and in that position, you are choosing not to use that power. This choice contributes daily to relentless violence.
Next speaker.
Hola, buenos días. Mi nombre es Rosángela. Soy trabajadora de comida rápida de McDonald's,
Hello, my name is Rosangela. I'm a fast food worker at McDonald's
aquí en Los Ángeles.
here in LA.
Urgimos que pasen la ley en el trabajo justo y comida rápida para demorar.
We ask that you approve the fast food fair work ordinance without further delay.
Los 50,000 trabajadores de comida rápida dependemos de su apoyo, asegurar que conozcamos nuestros derechos, así poder asegurar que nuestros trabajos sean seguros y justos.
Yes, us, the 50,000 fast food workers, we depend on your support so that we may have access to know our rights, so that we may be able to have a fair and just workplace and secure job stability.
Y seguros conociendo las leyes que existen para protegernos. Por favor, voten así a esta ley. Gracias por su tiempo.
And security by knowing the laws that are in place to protect us. So please vote in support of this. Thank you.
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
My name is Samuel Mares, M-A-R-E-Z, and I'm representing Flower and Leaf as a general partner and manager of a dispensary. From the 110 freeway always to our place, there is no lights. The street lights have been out for over a year. That's over 3 miles of darkness where people are getting killed, jumped, and various other things. The city council hasn't done anything, or anybody else, or the city. Also, as a dispensary manager, we also have problems with the dispensaries that are illegal in the area. Several of our people have come in and said they've gotten very sick from a lot of them. I've corresponded with the 77th precinct, and they said they would have money this year. They still haven't done it, and these stores are still open. And also in that area, the trash is piling up on the streets, and it's all over the area. This wouldn't be something that you would see in other areas. We need to look at that and clean up the area so that we are better.
Hello, my name is Eric, a photographer who's been documenting the city's response to ICE for what'll be a year this weekend. That's led me to start attending the police commission meetings regularly. So I'm here today to just say something quick about Councilmember Jurado's motion about flock safety. First, thank you. I think it is wild how quickly this stuff has grown. And I think it's very important that we educate the community about the fact that this private company has a network of cameras all around the country that they can track everyone's every move. So I did want to come here and say that the motion seems good to me, but I worry that it doesn't go far enough. I want to make sure that you guys know that back at the police commission in April, they said that they were planning to use funds from Project Blue Light, which I believe was a grant approved back in 2023, that they would sign a new contract with Flock. But they also said they were looking into similar programs with Motorola and Axiom. So the motion seems written around Flock, but it's the very idea of these privately owned AI surveillance companies that is an unconscionable invasion. So it's not just Flock, it's all bad. So thanks.
All right, Gerard Wright with the Greater Los Angeles Realtors. Just the conversations around SB 79 and housing production spurred me just to put a public comment in to talk about ULA, 3 dangerous letters that has really hurt housing production as well as tax coffers to the city of Los Angeles. Thinking about all the housing production that could have been created, which could have helped our growing deficits and actually help curb a lot of that, would be a great benefit to the city of Los Angeles. I'm just thinking of what happened around downtown Los Angeles before Measure ULA, where a lot of mid-rise and high-rise buildings were being constructed because it could pencil out. Same thing around the transit-oriented development zones. Without needing SB 79, they were being built because it could be affordable. It could be penciled out, it could actually be built and be productive. So I just want to put that as food for thought as we carry along in the business of today. But thank you so very much for your time and attention, and congratulations to those council members who won yesterday.
Okay, I'm going under the name Smoke and Scan. It's my shout out to Smoke and Scan. And, you know, you didn't call my name first, so we're going by Smoke and Scan today. But anyway, so let's start with the fire emergency thing. I want to discuss it a little bit. It's a fire and an emergency that's still going on because A, somebody messed up and drained the reservoir. Somebody else messed up and didn't have the proper fire equipment ready. And somebody else messed up that they weren't even here for it. So there are a lot of mess ups. And then they're still messing up because people can't, you know, rebuild. I mean, I think they're able to rebuild, like if they want low-income housing buildings or whatever. But people who live there their whole lives or whatever, they can't rebuild. So you guys have invented the current situation that we saw yesterday, right? I mean, you guys are about, because, and I'm still on number one unless I have to get off of it. You guys created that. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think it should be a nice message to the mayor. People are done. So about the ones with all the housing stuff, all the housing situations. Like I said, there may be a new daddy, you know, in a few months, right? It's going to be very interesting. I can't wait. I mean, I wanted just to see what's going on here. City Council is going to be lit. It's going to be so exciting. And I just, you know, if that happens, like, so I'm here for it. I'll probably come like every single time you open up the doors. It's going to be funny. But so I hope you guys are including the fact that you know that it could happen. You should be including the both candidates to all the discussions on housing.
Speaker, I can't tell what you're speaking to. It sounds
the
like general
housing
public
one,
comment. So
but there's two housing ones.
So there's the LHD resolutions, item 15. I'm going to ask that you please stick to the agenda items, or I'm going to move you to general. Go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. I am saying with all these housing things that have money, both of the issues that are regarding housing, that you guys should be inviting a potential future mayor to these discussions before you put them on there, before they're on the agenda. We know that you're probably inviting Bass to it, or she may be, you know, initiating it. But I am saying, going forward with any housing agenda item, and I bet Smoke and Scan will agree with me, they should invite both parties.
Now you've exhausted your 1 minute on that. On item 15, please move on to another item.
Okay, the next item is, I love Little League, love them, but, we're broke because you guys mismanaged everything. And so, we could let's invite the Dodgers to come and pay for Little Leagues. Let's really save our money and fix the city and do that. And, and as far as, and there's going to be a lot of changes. In fact, I think your boss may have been fired, Mr. City Attorney. I don't know if that's on the agenda item. I don't even know if Smoke and Scan cares if it's on the agenda item, but I think your boss has been fired. Agenda. And we can go to 5, 4, 3, 2.
Okay, you have 1 minute for general public comment.
Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm here for the same thing, okay? Sometimes I hear you bring things, bring children and what children are going through with the speaker today and stuff, but what about Scientology's children and the victims of Scientology that I've been advocating? Laura, she is a victim herself, has been advocating for herself and others, and it's nothing, okay? No one hears anything. And Mr. Hugo, congratulations, I guess, that you won your seat, it seems. But you know what? Don't think that means that you can get comfortable and just act like nothing's going on. Scientology held an event for 3 days. They held L. Ron Hubbard Way hostage in your watch on your area, okay, without a permit. They had no permit. What are you doing about it? I mean, besides not looking at me or paying attention. Besides that, are you going to follow through and do anything? Or are you the Scientology, are you their guy? I am going to vote. I want anyone who is not, like, Mayor Bass sat with Scientology. She spoke for them. Are you going to go speak for them too? Hugo, you need to deal with the fact that they had no permit and hijacked a street for 3 days. Do something.
For general, I support SB 79, and I will be back for item 5 when that's on the table.
So hold this time. So you can speak to item 5 now during your 1 minute for general public comment if you would like.
I see. Okay, yes. I represent the Ownership and applicant of item 5, which is respect to a haul route at 1375 Summit Ridge Place. I ask the City Council deny the appeal. The applicant and the ownership have agreed to all the conditions set forth in the approval, and thank you for your consideration.
Buenos dias. Good morning, everybody. My name is Victoria Luz Gomez. I am an organizer with the Housing Action Coalition, as well as a lifelong Angelino. I first just want to start by acknowledging my fellow Latinos, Latinas, Monica, Hugo, Unices. Congratulations on your re-election. I am proud to see some Latino representation in the council. I'm also here to talk about SB 79 implementation and urge this council to adopt the Exhibit 2B recommendations. Specifically, we encourage changes that allow for a low-rise ordinance change and at-grade parking. It's time for us to adopt recommendations that allow for more housing units to be built and increase the feasibility of projects in our city. There's a lot of politics at play with this, but I really encourage y'all to keep the people at center and think about what needs to be done to build more housing. Thank you.
Okay, so it says here, relative to the special events ordinance, which provides that the city council may add or remove events from the list of citywide special events by motion. I would like for you guys to really bring up the fact that Scientology should no longer be on this list of citywide special events. Absolutely no reason. For them to be on that means that you're giving them a way to recruit children, a way to recruit people from other countries using their R1 visa. This is where we're talking about the city getting infiltrated. And this is where we're asking you remove Scientology or any of its front groups like the Dianetics or CCHR or psychiatric, whatever these front groups are, which I've given you all pamphlets for. That needs to be removed from the list of citywide as a motion to be taken down. Scientology is not allowed to have that. Okay, now I'm going to go to my public comment. So, public comment. This is a super important thing here. This last week, you guys had the L. Ron Hubbard Way shut down with no permits. We've been asking, Hugo, you got to pay attention to this. This past weekend, L. Ron Hubbard Way was shut down by Scientology, and then when the protesters that go there or the people who go to audit to show the city evidence, they had no permit. The people that were normally there to harass the protesters were nowhere to be seen. We found out later they had absolutely no permit. So when does this stop? We've been fighting this for 3 years. We've given you books of children that were born and raised in this. You have Karen Bass, who continues to not speak about how horrible Scientology infiltrated her to be speaking on the stage. And yet you guys still don't speak up about the infiltration of Scientology. It's corruptions, it's human trafficking, it's disconnection of mothers and children in Los Angeles.
Speaker, your time has expired. Next speaker.
Hello, my name is Pedro Ramirez. I am a fast food worker here in LA County. I don't really have a script other than just my fault. I don't really have a script other than just like my lived experience and the way that I see it. The system kind of just works on dependence. Actually, here's how it is. I wrote this earlier. The business model is dependent on instability. Workers are kept below the benefit threshold, schedules change week to week, and the burden gets pushed onto workers' bodies, families, and public systems. For the most part, it's how it feels. When labor flexibility becomes priority over stability, unpredictability stops being an accident. It becomes policy. And again, it's how it feels. So my personal thing is I ask and urge, please pass the fast food work ordinance, fair work ordinance. We like the ability to have our schedules continuously, consistent, week over week. So I can plan my life around that and not sporadically. I'm an adult. I'd like to have my adult life. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President and colleagues. I wanted to take a minute and welcome to our chamber Ashley Wiggins. Ashley is joining us from London, where he's built a very distinguished career as a filmmaker and storyteller. And his latest work, Barefoot to Hollywood, explores the remarkable life and legacy of Marilyn Monroe. We were honored to premiere his documentary last weekend at the Bundy Triangle Park. That was an international premiere and first screening of the movie here in Los Angeles. And then we wrapped it up with a screening of Some Like It Hot, because in case you hadn't heard, Monday was Marilyn Monroe's 100th birthday.
Wow.
And so it has been a real journey. The production of this movie back and forth between London and Los Angeles. Ashley has been here with us over the course of the last week. So I just wanted to take a moment to thank him for the artistry and really documenting the enduring legacy. So Ashley, if you want to say a few words, I'd love to give you the mic just real quick.
Sure, thank you very much. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. I've been watching Los Angeles on the silver screen and the television my whole life. So to actually be here and film as well as have a premiere here is a dream come true. So I want to thank the city of Los Angeles, the people of Los Angeles, and Tracy Park. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you
colleagues.
so much.
Thank you, Council President.